Have you ever felt that something is missing in your life, even when everything around you seems perfectly fine? Have you ever reached a moment where your heart felt empty, your mind felt lost, and no matter how hard you tried, nothing truly brought peace? Many people today are chasing freedom, success, money, and recognition. They believe that if they can just break away from rules, advice, and guidance, they will finally become happy. But Buddhism teaches us a powerful truth. A life without inner guidance is like a kite without a string. It may rise for a moment, but eventually it falls. Welcome to Soft Zen Mind. Dear devoted listeners and beloved children, today let us reflect deeply on a lesson that can completely change the direction of our lives. Do we truly need a guide, a teacher, or wise advice in our journey through life? Or can we survive completely on our own? To understand this, let us begin with a simple yet deeply meaningful story. One peaceful afternoon, a colorful kite was flying high in the endless sky. The wind carried it beautifully through the clouds, and the kite felt proud of itself. It danced above the trees, above the houses, and above everything below. The higher it flew, the more powerful it felt. The kite looked around and thought, "Look how high I have reached. No one else is as free as I am." But even while soaring through the sky, the kite noticed something that disturbed it. A thin string was attached to its body, and below, a man was holding that string firmly in his hands. The kite became frustrated. It began to complain. "Why are you holding me back?" the kite shouted angrily. "I want complete freedom. Let go of me. I want to fly even higher without your control." The man gently smiled and replied, "Do not misunderstand the purpose of this string. This string is not your prison. It is your support. Because of this connection, you are able to rise safely into the sky. Without it, you will not survive." But the kite was blinded by pride and ego. It no longer wanted advice. It no longer wanted guidance. It believed it knew everything. So the kite pulled harder and harder against the string, fighting to escape. Suddenly, with one powerful jerk, the string snapped. For one brief moment, the kite felt victorious. It floated freely through the sky and thought, "Finally, I am free." But only seconds later, the wind became unstable. The kite lost direction. It began spinning uncontrollably through the air. Without support, without balance, and without guidance, the kite could no longer stay in the sky. And then, it crashed violently to the ground, destroying itself because of its own arrogance. Dear friends, this story is not only about a kite. It is about us. Our lives are very similar to that kite. Every human being wants to rise higher. We want success. We want respect. We want happiness. We want people to admire us. And there is nothing wrong with dreaming big or reaching for greatness. But the danger begins when success fills our hearts with ego. When people become more educated, more talented, or more successful, they sometimes start believing they no longer need anyone's guidance. They stop listening to their parents. They ignore the wisdom of teachers. They reject the advice of elders. Slowly, pride enters the mind like poison. In Buddhism, pride and ego are considered dangerous illusions because they separate us from wisdom. A proud mind refuses to learn. A proud heart refuses correction. And a person who refuses guidance often walks directly towards suffering without even realizing it. Many young people today say, "I don't need anyone telling me how to live my life." But think carefully. A tree without roots cannot survive storms. A ship without a compass becomes lost at sea. And a human life without wisdom eventually loses direction. Our parents, teachers, mentors, and spiritual guides are not chains meant to control us. In many cases, they are the invisible support that keeps us from falling apart. Their experience protects us from mistakes we cannot yet see. Sometimes guidance may feel uncomfortable. Sometimes correction may hurt our pride. But wisdom often arrives in forms the ego dislikes. The Buddha taught that a wise person is not someone who knows everything. A truly wise person is someone humble enough to continue learning throughout life. That is why humility is so powerful. Humility opens the door to growth. Humility protects the mind from destruction. Humility allows us to hear truths that can save our future. Look around the world today. Many people appear successful on the outside. Yet inside they feel empty, anxious, and disconnected. Why? Because they have lost their inner guidance. They may have wealth, fame, or social status, but without wisdom and self-awareness, the heart remains restless. True freedom is not doing whatever the ego wants. True freedom is having control over your own mind. A person controlled by anger is not free. A person controlled by greed is not free. A person controlled by ego is not free. Buddhism teaches us that real peace comes from discipline, mindfulness, compassion, and wise guidance. These qualities protect our lives just like the string protected the kite. Dear listeners, never be ashamed to seek advice from wise people. Never believe that asking for help makes you weak. In reality, the strongest people are often the ones humble enough to learn from others. Even the greatest masters once had teachers. Even enlightened minds walk through years of learning. Growth begins the moment arrogance ends. So if you still have parents who guide you, appreciate them. If you still have teachers who correct you, respect them. If you still have wise people around you, listen carefully to their words. Because one day, you may realize that the advice you ignored was actually protecting your future all along. And most importantly, never disconnect yourself from your inner spiritual guidance. Spend time in silence. Reflect deeply. Observe your thoughts carefully. Meditation, mindfulness, kindness, and self-awareness can help guide your life through confusion and darkness. The world outside may become noisy and chaotic, but a calm inner mind can still lead you toward peace. Dear friends, life becomes dangerous when ego replaces wisdom. The moment we believe we no longer need guidance is often the moment we begin falling without realizing it. So stay humble, stay mindful, stay connected to wisdom, because a guided life may move slowly at times, but it moves safely toward peace. But the story doesn't end here, because the deepest truth about life is only revealed when we start reflecting on where we come from and who shaped us into who we are today. When we first entered this world, we knew absolutely nothing. No language, no direction, no understanding of right or wrong. We were like an empty vessel, waiting to be filled with knowledge, care, and guidance. Our parents became our first teachers. They taught us how to take our first steps, even when we kept falling again and again. They patiently guided us through our first words, our first meals, and every small detail of daily life that we now take for granted. Behind every confident adult, there is a long story of patience, sacrifice, and unconditional love from parents who never gave up on us. And then came our teachers. They showed us how to read, how to write, how to think, and how to understand the world beyond our home. They opened doors to knowledge that we could never reach alone. Through their effort, discipline, and wisdom, we slowly began to grow into who we are today. If we pause for a moment and truly reflect, almost everything we know has been shaped by someone else's guidance. That is why gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a responsibility. We must never forget those who helped us become capable, confident, and aware human beings. In fact, real maturity begins when we start valuing the people who guided us, even when we didn't understand their lessons at that time. So always remember, listen carefully to the advice of your parents. Respect the instructions of your teachers. Even when their words feel strict, even when their guidance feels uncomfortable, it often carries the wisdom that protects your future. Buddhism teaches a very powerful principle here. Wisdom does not arise in isolation. It grows through learning, reflection, and guidance. Even the Supreme Buddha, after attaining enlightenment, deeply reflected on the importance of a teacher. He realized that living without guidance can lead to confusion and unnecessary suffering. That is why he sought understanding through deep awareness of truth and the Dharma itself. This reveals something profound. Even the most awakened mind valued guidance and learning. So if even the Buddha recognized the importance of wisdom and teaching, then what about us? We are still learning. We are still growing. We are still shaping our path. There is no shame in needing guidance. In fact, it is one of the strongest signs of intelligence and humility. The moment a person believes they no longer need to learn, that is often the moment their growth begins to stop. Many people achieve success in life and slowly begin to feel overconfident. They start thinking, I know enough. I don't need advice anymore. But life experience is something that cannot be replaced by information alone. Experience is earned through time, mistakes, reflection, and responsibility. Your parents and teachers may not always speak in the language of modern trends or digital knowledge, but they carry something even more powerful: lived experience. They have seen life in ways you have not yet experienced. They understand consequences that only time can teach. And that is why their guidance is often rooted in protection, not control. When you ignore wise advice, you are not becoming independent. You may actually be stepping away from wisdom that could save you from unnecessary pain. Think of life as a long journey through an unknown path. You may have energy, confidence, and ambition, but without direction, even the strongest traveler can lose their way. Guidance is not a limitation, it is a compass. In Buddhism, this is closely related to the idea of mindfulness and right understanding. A guided mind is a balanced mind. A balanced mind makes better decisions, and better decisions lead to a more peaceful life. So never underestimate the value of simple advice. Sometimes a single sentence from a parent or teacher can prevent years of regret. Sometimes a small correction today can protect your entire future tomorrow. And most importantly, always stay open to learning. No matter how much you grow, there is always something more to understand. Life is not about reaching a point where you know everything. It is about continuously evolving with awareness, humility, and gratitude. True strength is not ego. True strength is humility with wisdom. Dear friends, if you learn to respect guidance, you will notice something beautiful happening in your life. Your decisions become clearer. Your mind becomes calmer. Your direction becomes stronger. And slowly, life begins to feel less confusing and more meaningful. Because when wisdom guides your path, confusion loses its power. Always remember, independence without wisdom leads to chaos, but independence guided by awareness leads to true freedom. So cherish your parents, respect your teachers, value every lesson you receive, even when it feels small. Because every piece of guidance is like a light placed on your path in moments of darkness. This is the teaching of Buddhism. This is the truth of mindful living. And this is the foundation of a meaningful life. You are never truly alone when you are willing to learn. This is Soft Zen Mind. If this message brought clarity to your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Soft Zen Mind, and share it with someone who needs a reminder about the power of guidance and gratitude today.